So how do you find government documents through Google? I'm going to show you a trick to do a site-limited search. So let's say you are writing a research art paper on deforestation. All right. So if you're just doing a Google search with that, you get a lot of company and organization websites. So you get this livescience.com, worldwildlife.org, National Geographic. You get Wikipedia in there. You do have this blog from Columbia University. So these aren't necessarily bad or inaccurate, but you're going to have to do a rather thorough investigation of their bias, their credibility, of who are they, what are they, where are they getting their information, are they presenting you information correctly. A lot of, with deforestation, of organizations that are environmentalist and nature preservation groups are going to be coming in with a very strong bias that deforestation ruins the environment, etc. Whereas if you're looking at business groups are coming in and going to be arguing back that why it's good for their business, why it is creates jobs and does boost the economy and things like that, and kind of they could be arguing their environmentally acceptable ways to do that. So if you're just kind of doing this standard Google search, you're going to be getting a lot of those groups that might not be giving you inaccurate info, but might not be giving you the whole picture. And so you have to do a lot of your crap test evaluation to determine why it is you would want to accept this as credible info. However, instead of just doing deforestation, before you put in your keywords, if you type the word site with a S, because it's a website, not site with a C, like you're creating a citation, site : so 2 dots for the : gov. And so run that together, no spaces, and then give a space and put your keywords in. What that is going to do is a specific website search. So instead of getting everything that's .com, .org, .edu, it's only going to be searching for websites that end in .gov. So it's going to be limiting this to government agencies, whether they're national or state level agencies. So you're seeing you're getting first things coming up, coming out of this NASA.gov of the Earth Observatory. You get climate.gov. So coming out of the National Administration for Aeronautics and what is NOAA? I'm trying to remember. Scroll down. So you see climate.gov. I'm forgetting what NOAA is. It's the National Organization for something and something. But yes, but an actual credible government agency that is coming up with their research on what deforestation looks like, what are the effects of that. So they're talking about doesn't carbon dioxide and that's going to come from natural sources. So things kind of on that topic. You get other things. So NSF.gov coming out of this National Science Foundation where discoveries begin. So these are scientific research that you have people with actual college, master's, all the way through doctorate level degrees, and the sciences are actually being funded by government and state agencies to create these organizations and to work for them. So the National Science Foundation on looking at Amazon deforestation sort of deal, and so the effects of that and what's going on with it, and so they're giving you kind of these site information and sources within it. So that way you're getting a slightly more credible resource that a government agency is more likely to be on the surface objective, that you're not going to be getting a manipulative bias definitely within them. We talked about, when we talked about bias and government agencies before, what you're more likely to see within government resources is not bad information put out there. You might be seeing the omission of information. So definitely climate change would be one with the current federal government administration coming out of the White House. Climate change research is not being funded and it's not being pushed as it was under other administrations. And so that's kind of where politics plays into this, but you're not going to see bad information or manipulative information being put forth with these agencies, but you might see a lack of info there. One good example would be gun Control and Gun Violence. Lobbyists have blocked the Center for Disease Control from studying it. So you don't have the hard data kind of on that. Research is not available because it's not being done. So that's where kind of politics plays into this and bias. But what is coming out of this is going to be actually very valid research. So let's look at the CBO.gov. So Congressional Budget Office. So this is where you have this kind of talking about the difference between a website and a GovDoc. So what you're looking at, most of these is websites, and they're bringing you kind of this public, easily accessible, easily understandable information about, this one's talking about greenhouse gases and how deforestation is, removal of the trees has contributed to the increase in greenhouse gases because the trees use carbon dioxide and help clean that out of the air. So you kind of get this general paragraph here that is the public version, that is the popular source, that is written so that the average person can read this and understand it. But lots of times if you actually click on the links within it, that it's taking you to more in-depth information. And this is where you'd get more of the scientific data. And so you're getting the more scientific level, scholarly type research. And so you're seeing get the full report, which is several pages long, and you're actually getting the charts and diagrams and things like that that might be a little bit more in-depth and giving you more of this data and the actual original research that's being produced, as opposed to the website that could be kind of written more at a popular level that's easy for the average person to understand. So that's kind of the difference between a government website and a government document. If you were citing this, you're going to want to cite this page here as a website. So it would be Deforestation and Greenhouse Gases would be the web page name. Congressional Budget Office would be both the author and the website. So citation would be Deforestation and Greenhouse Gases, January 6, 2012. Congressional Budget Office as the website, retrieved from URL on this date would kind of be your website. Whereas if you're wanting to cite this PDF document, then that's where we're actually looking at the full document. And so you're coming back to this main page that the Congressional Budget Office is still the author, January 2012. Deforestation and greenhouse gases, you're not getting an actual person attached to this, as opposed to that government agency office. And so you would still be citing it very similarly to the website. I would not say the Douglas Elmendorf is the author. He is the director for the agency, not specifically the person who wrote this. So if you're not getting an author on this title page, it typically doesn't have an author attached to it. It's just the government agency is the author and the publisher. However, many times it's very common for these type of reports and scientific studies to have specific people listed as the researcher and the authors of the report. So when you're finding those, they're going to be on this title page, just like they would with an article or a book. So there's kind of your difference between the website and the actual government document within it.